And I think actors and directors and designers and technicians, all creative artists, eventually will, either you're burning the candle at both ends, you burn out, you become exhausted, or you maybe start to doubt your own potential, your own possibility, your own integrity. And those are the times when hopefully either a friend will come to our rescue or the inner child will just come forth and say, no, there's nothing else you would rather be doing right now. There's nothing else that you would like to invest this much time in doing. And I think it's realizing that. And that, again, is where I bring it back to that almost like spiritual place. For a lot of people in theater almost is the religion. Theater is the politics. Theater is the way to live. Because they can't imagine themselves doing anything else. And as children, we can imagine ourselves doing thousands of things. So I would say that even creative artists limit themselves when they choose a life in the arts. But hopefully that they find that to be very rewarding, I mean, I think everyone still looks forward to retirement. Eventually you go, I can't wait until I can retire. I have enough money that I don't have to go show to show to show. I can go and see theater, or I can maybe go and teach some classes, or I can just go hang out on a beach and not even worry about storytelling, just enjoy the breeze. I think all of my friends who are theater collaborators need to build in a vacation once a year. It's still like teaching. It's like anything else is very structured, and you have to give yourself permission to check out and not use your brain and not use your imagination and just be a lump for a while, knowing that you will get back to the races at any moment, hopefully. I would say that youth theater works your patience more than anything, because we have to revisit that concept of kids are cruel. Kids are honest, kids are insecure, kids want to be cool, kids think they know more than they do, and kids can be very cruel in their opinions, but they are the most truthful audiences you will ever receive. Egads Theater Company, we have found our audience. We have found our cult following. So either we find that we have the people who are friends or fans or family. And with something like the Coterie Theater, this beautiful outreach to all of these different schools, elementary, middle school, high school, private academies, everything, a lot of them are there against their own will. And we are trying to show them and convince them that theater, live theater, is an art form that we must never lose, and that it is a way for them to not only be entertained and to escape from their lives, but to also learn. And that is a huge difference. Very rarely will Egads Theater Company do a show where we are really trying to teach a lesson, where we're trying to send home a message, All in all, we want to be the Wizard of Oz. We want to be Alice in Wonderland. We want to be Lost in Neverland. All these different ideas where maybe there is a maturity that you bring out of seeing a show. By the end of the show, maybe the audience has grown up a little more because they realize that's not their life and that they have to return to their own. But it's an escape. Whereas with something like the Coterie Theater, it is based in curriculum. It is based in education. And you still hope that you provide lots of entertainment or frivolousness at times to just engage the audience's imagination. But at the end of that day down at the Coterie, we all are educators as actors. We are educators for the audience. Very different. And things are constantly changing. I think anyone who feels safe in what they're doing and in their process in the theater needs to get out immediately. That's when you go on vacation. Because if we become too comfortable in what we think we know of the theater, then that is when it will become stale. That's when it will dry up, and that's when it will no longer have relevance, because it's not creative. I learn something new every time that I work on a show. Unfortunately, I have times when I will resort back to a formula, and that is inevitably when either the cast will start to lose interest or the audience will go, it was okay, not one of your best, or when a critic viciously comes at you and goes, you're playing it safe. And those are the times when we have to listen. We should never be playing safe. We should never be phoning in the information or what we're used to doing. And that's everybody who's involved in creative expression. But yeah, from the time that I started when I was 14. When I started directing and I was 14, I thought I knew everything, and I was so ready to show everybody how much I knew. And of course, quickly knocked down a peg or multiples. As people told me, look, you've got some great ideas, but you have no structure, you have no organization here. And so then you learn organization. You go, okay, well, I'm going to be extremely structured. I will only follow this agenda and this schedule. And then people go, what happened to your lifeblood? What happened to the energy? You were so formal, you were so professional. And then you go, oh, okay, sorry, right, okay. So back into having fun and having a good time. And I think there's a certain band of actors in this town that fortunately get lots of work who understand that they should never feel safe. You know, they should always be walking on hot coals as they're going through the process. And they have to confront fear, and they have to confront doubt, insecurity, all those kinds of things. And I think that's where you learn the most in a creative process, is identifying where am I insecure, where have I failed before, and what am I willing to do drastically different, maybe so drastic that I have to learn another 100 horrible lessons in this experience. But it's good to make mistakes. And that I just keep being reminded of. Continue making mistakes so that you can find those things that work and those things that excite other imaginations. It's tricky. I think it's kind of like giving away the magician's trick. You know, once you talk about it, you've demystified it, and then can you really find it? But I think you can. I think it's a matter of when you see a product that really speaks to you because of a slogan or because of a campaign that they're using, and being able to criticize it. This is a horrible way to say it, but I think being able to actively criticize and actively praise other people's work oftentimes helps you tune into your own aesthetic, therefore your own creativity. Again, I will not stress enough this idea of really try to think back to childhood. Try to think what you were doing, when you were in kindergarten, first, second, third grade. Fourth grade, we start to become cynical, so try to think back before then. But I remember running around like a lunatic on the playground, trying to get my friends to put on a play in my basement. I remember my best friend, ready to be like the kickball all-star. And it's like, well, dude, come on, kickball, that's not gonna go anywhere. But that's humorous and that's creative and that's weird, you know what I mean? Looking at people who become sports enthusiasts, why did that happen? What inspired them to do that? People who loved after-school television, when they were trying to avoid their homework, what about that did you love when you were allowed to just go outside and run around and be crazy before dinner? All of those different things you have to tune into. But it is giving yourself as much opportunity to observe other artists and other people creating in every medium, especially in theater, but also film, television, marketing, design, dance, music, everything. Going and just forming an opinion, developing your own opinion, and then trying to figure out, do I hold myself to those values and those standards and those morals? How much do I expect of myself? How much do I demand of myself? Which sounds like it goes against creativity, but that honestly is what helps me the most. It is that idea of like, why am I procrastinating? It's because I'm probably lost in thought on something that's more exciting or more fun. And it's kind of like, okay, how do I take that and hone it into this activity right now? And it is a matter of letting yourself daydream and then going, okay, so what's so exciting about that daydream? Or, laughing at an internal thought, hey, cool, there, redundancy. Laughing at an idea and going, now why was that so funny to me? Why was that so weird and whimsical? How can I use it? But yeah, it is a matter of, for me, it's more of a matter of staying focused on the task at hand and what I have to accomplish now so that I don't go chasing giants in the sky elsewhere. But I do think that it's just a good idea to, take a deep breath and try to figure out what makes you the happiest. I think happiness and fun is where a lot of creativity comes from. If it's fun, it's probably creative.